You're listening to Real Sisters Talk. Find out more about our show and listen to previous episodes at realsisterstalk.com. Welcome to Real Sisters Talk. I'm Linda, your host, and my guest today is a singer-songwriter who turns stage fright on its head, shakes it up and down, makes fun of it, and really kicks it in the butt. She's earned the nickname Debbie Do-Over because she commonly makes mistakes, expects to make them, and doesn't mind asking for a do-over. Audiences love it. Welcome to the show today, Debbie, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So, you're a Juilliard-trained classical pianist from New York. My question...
Well, actually, no, I should correct you on that. My teacher was Juilliard trained. I didn't go to Juilliard.
Okay.
Although that would be extremely impressive.
Yeah. But you are from New York, and you were a classical pianist.
Correct.
All right. How did you transition then to this style of performance, making mistakes and doing do-overs and the humor, all the humorous songs, and tell us about that transition.
I guess it was a pretty long transition. I grew up playing piano, and then when I got to college, I didn't really stop playing, but I didn't play nearly as much as I used to, and I picked up the guitar.
Both are screaming, have sex with me, you have no stockings on, and it's 20 degrees. Your boy, he's got his collar up and his button down, shirt Febreze. Both are screaming, get with me, don't I look good in my designer jeans?
And then I actually didn't start writing my own songs until I was 24. So a long time had sort of gone by, and I wasn't really playing much music before then. And I had moved back to New York and started playing some backup keys for a friend of mine who is a singer-songwriter in New York. Mm-hmm. And I think just sort of being in the music scene made me think, oh, I could try to write a song. And so I did, and I started writing songs.
If consequences lie ahead, but collar boy can only see his bed. Waiting for the F train, it's gonna be a long ride, honey. Look at your boy, he doesn't have any more money for a taxi.
I didn't try to write any style. I sort of just was writing what came to me and what amused me. Like, I often write things that make me laugh, and I just pray they make at least one other person laugh.
Well, yeah, they're funny, and especially when you listen to the whole album, as a whole, the whole performance or the whole album. I was listening to some of yours just here and there, and they were funny. But when I put it together, because you have some real serious ballads. And, it's just some that are real fantasy, mystical, some that are kind of ragtime-ish. And when you listen to them all, you walk away just happier.
Aw, thank you. I'm glad.
Well, it's a good thing you're doing because, you're teaching other people to be able to laugh at themselves. Performance anxiety, stage fright is one of the worst, most crippling things, that can happen to almost anyone. Whether you're a performer or just getting up to, give a speech or talk to a stranger. So you made mistakes and you decided, I'm just going to go with it?
Yeah, I guess so, because it's happened so frequently. I sort of don't have any other choice. I'm not really sure what happens. I think sometimes I just get really distracted or something while I play, and then I've never really been able to figure it out. And after you've made a mistake, there's sort of nothing else left to do except laugh at it.
Yeah, well, some people get mortified. So you chose to, you have a good sense of humor, I guess, you decide to laugh at it.
I guess it makes me laugh, so
Okay.
there you go. I don't know.
Yeah.
We saw the blues and I loved your hair. I knew exactly what to wear to make you wanna be the boy to be with me.
Well, did you grow up, since you were playing the piano, taking lessons and whatnot, did you grow up performing?
Yeah, I had to do piano recitals and I did competitions and things like that. And then when I was in high school, I was actually in a theater program. And we did 4 plays a year, as well as some other little things in between. So I always was a performer. I loved to be on stage.
Okay, and that was in New York.
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island.
Okay. Did you spend a lot of time on Broadway, going to Broadway plays and that kind of thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I can hear it. Sometimes in your songs, they just sound like they're ready to be put into a Broadway play.
Can I tell you that's actually my dream? So if anyone out there is listening right now, let's turn my songs into a Broadway musical.
Okay,
No,
that's what your dream is?
That's an absolute dream, combining theater and the songs that I write together.
You wouldn't drop it so it couldn't break. But it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. But I believe you, honey, anyway. It's a lie, 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 lie. But I like all the nice things that you say.
Let's go ahead and go through some of the songs, and as we go through them, we will bring up other things too. But let's start with, because you sent me over songs from 2 albums, Measures and Weights and Fake Love, right?
Yes.
Let's start with Tippy Toe. Tell me a little bit about that. It's playful, has some funny injections, like, if another girl looks at you, I'm going to beat her up.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I remember writing that song, and I was sitting on my bed in Queens when I was still living in New York. And it was just one of those things, I really just wrote it as a joke to myself, and it made me laugh. And I started to play it at this open mic that I used to go to in Brooklyn. And it was one of those songs that just kind of caught on. There was a person in the audience, his name is Greg. He actually ended up producing both my albums. He loved that song so much that he asked me if I'd ever want to record with him. And I went over one day and we started recording Tippy Toe, and he did all this really cool production on it. And that's actually the version that's on the album. And then from that song, we decided to record a whole album together. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, let's go ahead and play it. This is Tippy Toe.
And I never run into any other girls but me, which is good, 'cause I would beat them up. Oh, do 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 do. Oh, 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 next I work my way to your sense of touch, and I find it don't require much to make you want me all the time. Just a playful.
Are both of your albums, were they both produced in New York?
Yeah. The second one so the first one we recorded in Greg's bedroom, if you could believe that. And then the second one we recorded in an actual studio.
Wow.
In Brooklyn as well.
Okay, but you live in Seattle now.
That's right, yeah.
So what brought you to Seattle from New York?
What brought me to Seattle was graduate school, actually. I'm studying naturopathic medicine at Bastyr University in Kenmore, Washington.
Wow. Let's go on another song here. There's the song Eclipse, which is also on Fake Love. It has kind of a ragtime-ish feel, real fun ragtime-ish. I don't know. What would you describe it as, and how did you come up with the song?
Well, I actually literally wrote this song on Valentine's Day about this this guy that I had a crush on. And again, it was just one of those things. I wasn't really trying too hard. It just was, I had an idea in my head of like writing a song about a person that you are so in love with, but you just like can't even bring yourself to talk to.
All right, let's go ahead and play Eclipse.
I'm dying to be next to I love you. I love you. But I'm not gonna tell no one. And I can't look at you because you're so beautiful. You are so goddamn fine. You are my eclipse. I can't look away, though you're slightly damaging to my eyes. Love you. Oh, I love you. Do you really want to be my guy? I never said these words to anyone.
All right, that was Eclipse off of Fake Love. And I'm talking to Debbie Miller, who lives in Seattle, but she's from New York. And if anybody out there is from Broadway or represents anything on Broadway, you need to get a hold of her. No, so is your dream then you want to sing, you want to write songs and sing, do it all on Broadway?
I'm not really sure. I just think it would be so cool. I don't necessarily need to be in the show, but
But come
I
on,
don't-
you would like to be. You're good. You need to
I
be in
mean,
the
I
show.
would love it. I would love it. But
You
I
need
would
to be in the
assume
show.
after 6 months or a year of being in the run, I'd probably get tired and want to give my part to someone else.
Yeah. I'm bored with this. So you're in graduate school. What are you going to do after graduate school? Are you going to go back to New York?
I'm not really sure. It's still a few years away, and I'm just going to kind of wait and see what happens and what opportunities come up.
Okay. Well, tell us about this trip you were telling me about before we got on air, about going to Israel. What were you doing over in Israel?
I was visiting a friend of mine who is living in Jerusalem for the year.
Wow. So what did
Yeah.
you do? What was it like over there?
Well, I'd been there actually twice before, but both times was on a tour group. And so this was very different. I was there as like a solo traveler. It's a really interesting place. Jerusalem is home to so many different religions, and it's really interesting to see so like how many people have come over to visit their own religious holy sites.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. And it was warm and sunny, which is not like how it is in Seattle most of the time.
Well, fun. Did you feel safe?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. There's sort of notion that it's really unsafe in Israel, and I know there are like in periods of violence, it can feel unsafe, but when you're there, it's different. There's a different perception of reality there, I think. I never felt unsafe for 1 second.
Now, are you Jewish?
I am, yeah.
Do you have any family that live in Israel?
I don't have any family that live in Israel, no.
Well, let's go on and look at the song Inch by Inch, because this one is a completely different feel. It's more of that grand ballad type song, and absolutely beautiful. As a matter of fact, I think Inch by Inch was what I heard playing on Seattle Wave Radio when I discovered you and then contacted you to be on the show. Can you tell us about this song? And this one is off of Measures and Weights, so it must be a newer one.
Well, the song was written a long time ago, but yes, it is on my newer album. It's a song that I actually began to write on my own. And I started writing it for the piano, actually, and I just sort of kind of got stuck with it, but I knew it had a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then a friend of mine, Lee Goldstein, came over. Again, this was a different Valentine's Day, but another Valentine's Day that I was writing a song.
Valentine's Days are good for you.
Yeah, apparently. And she came over just with we were going to try to write something together. And we tried writing something from scratch, and it wasn't really working. And I said, well, I have this song that I've been trying to finish, and I played for her what I had. And then just then and there, she started coming up with all these beautiful harmonies, and she had her own notebook full of lyrics with her, and we pretty much finished the song together that day. pretty interesting because we started to record the song. We wanted to I knew I was moving to Seattle, so we wanted to try to record that before I left. We didn't finish it. And we had pretty much the whole song recorded before I moved to Seattle, with the exception of, I think, the string part, which we didn't record until the following year, in a different space. And we finally were able to get it all together.
Who played the strings?
Her name is Amanda Gukin. She's a cello player in New York.
Swish it around to savor the love that we found. Once upon a time, I breathed warm rivulets down your spine. All I have left are patterns on cheekbones once buried in your chest. So let's ration out all the amounts, kiss by kiss, laugh by laugh, touch by touch. I won't use up too much. I'll save them all so we have enough.
Okay, that was Inch by Inch by Debbie Miller. How does the Seattle scene compare to the New York scene? And how does it fit in with your music?
My experience in the two different scenes has been very different, but I think mostly because when I first started in New York, I really was starting from scratch. I was just beginning to write songs. I was just beginning to perform. I was learning how to come up with an album. And by the time that I got to Seattle, sort of already had an album under my belt. So I was already a different musician and performer by the time that I got here. And I was actually a little bit nervous at first that my brand of humor wouldn't really fit here, or people wouldn't really understand. But it hasn't been like that at all. I've had such a great response to my music ever since I moved out here. And what is, I think, unique to the Seattle music scene that New York doesn't really have is all different kinds of opportunities for musicians to perform. I love the New York music scene so much, and there's so many wonderful venues. And I was playing shows a few times a month or once a month maybe. But out here, I play a lot of shows, but I also play in a lot of different kind of events. I write a lot for the Bushwick Book Club, which is a club where musicians we don't really get together. We each read the same book and then write a song inspired by the book and play it for a live audience. So that's really cool. And it exists in New York too, but on a smaller scale. It actually began in New York, which is why it's called the Bushwick Book Club.
Oh, cool.
After Bushwick, Brooklyn.
I'd never heard of it before. Now, is that where your Queen of Hearts came from? Because that's based on Alice in Wonderland.
That's right. Yeah, that was the first song that I wrote for the Bushwick Book Club.
Okay, that's cool. So you did that in New York, though. I was watching a video of you singing that song, performing it in Seattle, and you'd made mention that it was written in New York, where, that was a little bit, it made more sense in New York, you thought, because, I don't know, probably everybody wants to off each other's heads in New York.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wrote it to perform in Seattle, but I actually wrote the song while I was back home for a few weeks on a break from school.
Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious. It's a very funny song.
I am misunderstood, but don't misunderstand me now. I am the Queen of Hearts, and see, the world forgot somehow that what I do is just and right, and I think you'll agree. When I collect people's heads, I do it mostly for you, and just slightly for me. It started many years ago as I tried to fall asleep. My neighbor played his music loud and proceeded to keep me up all night and kept awake the entire kingdom too. I asked quite nice to turn it down, though he rudely refused. So I took matters into my own heart, to put it quite simply. I took his head and chopped it off, and we all slept in peace. peace. And the crowd cheered for me and they threw roses. I didn't know that was going to be a funny line. That kind of threw me off a little. And the crowd cheered and they threw, thank you, roses at my feet. And we were better off. We were better off, if you ask me. Things, they stayed okay a month, or maybe it was 2. And then some jerk face cut me off when I was on my way to a queen's meeting, 2 kingdoms over. I swerved and hit a tree. So I took his head and the head of his lover so she would not be lonely. Is that funny? Okay, you guys are sick. Oh my God. Okay. The following week, I was on a train with my hubby, the king, to a romantic getaway where we'd be relaxing. But all we could hear was the obnoxious chatter of a princess behind us. On her cell phone, I couldn't take the blabber, so I did what was just. I offed her pretty little head and then I tossed it out the side. The passengers and King and I enjoyed a quiet train ride. But the crowd didn't cheer as loud this time, and there were no roses at my feet. Some looked horrified, but most looked satisfied, if you ask me. And so you see, it's not for me, it is mostly for you. I only try to keep the peace, though my method is uncouth. Parking in 2 spots is a punishable offense. Your bag don't need a seat on the bus, and humming makes no sense. Do not drive too fast, or worse, don't drive too slow. We're changing lanes, please use your signal, and for God's sakes, green means go. Especially in Seattle, man. If you're wearing headphones and I can hear your music, if you talk through a movie, if you try to cut the line, my heart will tear in 3. And I'll have no remorse, you see. I'll off heads left and right until the people who remain are the quiet and polite. And you will all cheer for me, and you'll throw roses at my feet, and we'll be better off. We'll be better off, and you better agree.
I think people here love it. And I also sometimes think it's because people here are so polite, but deep down they don't want to be. And so I think that's why that song works really well here.
Well, I mean, how do you like Seattle?
I've grown to love it. It was hard when I first moved here, I think mostly because of the weather. But it's such a unique city, and it's so beautiful. I like when the days when you can see the mountains, it's just breathtaking, and I can't believe that I live here.
Well, isn't it funny how Mount Rainier will be, you can't even see it, and you don't even know there's a mountain there.
Exactly.
And then one day, finally the clouds disappear and you see this gigantar, mountain. It's Mount Rainier.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You don't have anything like that in New York.
No, we don't have anything even remotely close. Like, I don't even think we have like hills where, where I grew
Probably
up.
not. Well, let's listen to another one off of Measures and Weights. How about the song Much Longer? This is a serious, slow, almost like a hymn in some parts. How would you describe it?
I would just, that's a really good description of it. I don't know that I could do any better.
Okay, let's go ahead and play. This is Much Longer by Debbie Miller.
So I don't want to wait much longer. Time is sliding through my fingertips. I can't grab hold, and time is running in every direction except in mine. So I don't want to wait much longer.
Which song do you like to play the most? Which one's the most? I imagine it's one of the fun. You have a good sense of humor, so I imagine it has to be one of the funny ones.
Yeah, there's two songs on Measures and Weight. Well, I really love to play all of them, so it's hard to pick, but I think I have a special attachment to Brand New Album, which
Okay.
is mostly a serious song. I guess there's like a little bit of a funny line in the beginning, but
About
I'm not sure
Facebook.
why, but that song to me is really special.
Well, was it based on anything real? It sounds like you're trying to impress somebody, and you haven't put your Facebook status update. But you're going to tell them anyway exactly what you're doing, and it's an
Yeah.
impressive thing.
The song is definitely based on true events, and I wrote it actually right before I left New York and I was moving to Seattle. It was after I released my first album, and it's called Brand New Album after my first album, but it comes up on Measures and Weights.
So now it's actually your old album.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's play Brand New Album by Debbie Miller.
Wanna wow them all, but I care only if I wow you. It's true. And what shirt did you decide to wear today? Are you scruffy or did you shave? Either way, I bet you're looking okay. But you change your look like you change your wear. Men always want a new beginning. I only wanted the middle part. Oh, screw the start.
Okay, that was Brand New Album by Debbie Miller. So, Debbie, do you have family back in New York?
Yeah, my entire family is back there.
So, do you have lots of brothers and sisters, or?
I have one sister.
Oh, a sister. Okay.
I have a few cousins.
Okay. What do your parents think about
About
you?
me?
About your music? Yeah.
I'm not really sure what they really think. They're very supportive. They laugh a lot at my shows. I think there are some songs that they would have rather not listened to.
Which one? Which one do you think they'd rather not? How about F Train? Do you think that would be one they wouldn't want to listen to?
I'm not sure. See, that one actually isn't about me, so it's okay. But there are some other songs that I just know that they're just closing their eyes and shaking their heads in embarrassment.
Oh, like TMI kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, which one do you think they would be the most uncomfortable with?
I know my dad actually hates my song Light Bright.
Oh, really?
His exact words were, "I don't care for that song."
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
now we got to play it. I don't know what he doesn't like about Light Bright, but let's go ahead and play it. Now, this one, which one's that off of? Is that off
That's
of
on
Fake Love?
Love.
Okay, here's Light Bright off of Fake Love.
Kinda lame, even for child's game. The pegs get everywhere, the patterns are of paper. You must puncture the paper, then you can't reuse the paper. It doesn't have the magic I thought it would. So I'm hoping you are much like my light bright, a big disappointment, then I won't have to waste my time thinking thoughts of you. Or maybe you're like cable, I never had that either. No, I never had that either till I moved out on my own. Better than expected, I think I am addicted to Keith and Rachel on MSNBC. Stacy tells me what not to wear on TLC. And in addition, without my permission, don't tell a soul I watch The Hills on MTV. 8 Spencer above LCD. So maybe you're like cable, better than expected, and I would be addicted to changing all your channels, and I like you best when you're on demand. Or maybe you're like Nintendo.
Okay, that's the funny song off of Light Bright by Debbie Miller. Yeah, I don't know what your dad doesn't like about it. I would think that if he's just not going to like it, maybe What's She Got?
Oh, yeah. My mom actually really likes that song because she thinks it sounds country-ish.
It does. It's very country.
Yeah.
It's very country. So they don't care about you talking about boobs or any of that kind of stuff. That's not their objection.
I mean, I don't want to say they don't care. I think they choose to ignore it.
Well, it's probably a shocker for them since you were a classical pianist. And now you're doing all this offing heads and talking about boobs and other things, and bathroom
and in person,
stalls.
when I'm having conversations with people, I'm not really all that vulgar. So I think it's one of my music is an outlet for me to say a lot of things that I wouldn't normally say.
Yeah, you don't seem like somebody who would be vulgar. You look like you're pretty, just normal.
A few inches to my height, and nothing to lose. What you got to give that I don't got to give, except a fearless heart, some love and two beautifully sculpted open arms. And no, it hurt when you pushed me aside. I didn't mind. Helped to bring me back to life, life. What you got that I don't got? Well, that is you, but it's okay. I will find something.
I saw a picture on the internet of you. There was a piano. It was on your Facebook page, actually. There was a piano in the bathroom. What was that all about?
Oh, I recently just played a show at this place called Coppergate in Ballard in Seattle. And it's this little tiny back room. It's a really intimate listening room, which is why I really like it. And I guess, well, at one point there was a bathroom in there, but they knocked down the walls. But all the tiles are still there. And like a lot of the fixtures are still there. And that's where the piano is.
Okay. Yeah, I saw
and
it.
I'm actually playing there this coming Friday, April 12th. I'm playing a piano-only set there.
So really?
Yeah.
A piano-only set? So you do that too?
This is my first time actually ever playing a set full of just piano songs.
So what kind of piano songs are you doing? Yours? Are these just instrumentals? Are you singing to them? Or
I'm going to play my songs, maybe a cover or two.
So you'll be playing these songs that are on your albums, but just piano?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And some ones that aren't on my albums also, but that I've written.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which one of these do you think showcases your piano playing the most?
I would say Kindly Remove on Fake Love is probably the best representation.
I agree. Who's playing the violin on that when you come in? Or the strings?
It's actually a cello, and it's a girl named Madeline Craw-Corliss.
Okay, so a different cello player.
Different cello player, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and play that.
Things you think you know about me. I am not sensitive, in fact I'm quite cold, and I am not interesting. Why do you have to be mean, so mean? Kindly remove that chip from your shoulder, it's only weighing you down. You don't deserve to know me when I'm older, it simply should not be allowed. Why don't you just go away? You stayed. Kindly take back that one thing that you said. It felt like a million cuts on me. Wounds always heal, but the scars remain as proof of mistakes that we've made.
And that one has a little bit of a Broadway feel as well. What do you think, if you were to do a Broadway, if you were to incorporate your music into a Broadway play, what would the theme of this play be?
Love, I guess, probably. Because
Love?
I think
Really?
that's what most of my songs revolve, or some kind of relationships, because I don't always write songs about relationships, but I think the vast majority are either about relationships or love, or thinking about relationships or love.
Now, how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30?
I whispered that even
You look like
though
you're
everyone's here.
21.
Oh, I love you.
But my question, I was going to ask you that because I thought you were going to say you're like 24 and you didn't. You said you're 30. So you threw off my question. But do you still believe in love? You have a song called What Do You Believe? Or no, Did You Ever Wonder? But you're asking, What do you believe? What's going on in that song? You seem like you're thinking about aging and that kind of thing. And actually, a couple of your songs, you seem like you're thinking about the aging process or time moving fast.
Yeah. I think I wrote that song from a place of remembering what it's like to be really young, not just young and a teenager and young and in love, but like a child where all things sort of seem possible and things seem really simple in black and white, and sort of this place of innocence and sort of holding on to those simple beliefs as you get older. And I think a lot of the things that I believed when I was younger, I do still believe in a really hopeful place.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
No, that's good. That's good. You sound like you're a little tentative, though, when you say that.
I guess, like at my age, 30, I've experienced a lot. And when you're young, you don't sort of realize how much, pain and heartbreak you go through, just as being a human being.
All the world to see. And did you ever surmise that elves could live in traffic lights and move a glowing ball behind those three colors in perfect time? And hey, did you ever wonder if in addition to making thunder, that clouds were housing fueling stations for vehicles of aviation? These are things I used to believe. Okay, I do believe. And didn't you think that you could live forever if you say out loud, I'm gonna live forever?
That can wear you down at times, but I think it's also important to remember what you felt like as a kid and to be hopeful. Remember that all things are possible.
Didn't you think that staying up late was pretty much the greatest thing that could ever happen since the Muppets took Manhattan? And didn't you think you were safe and sound if Mom and Daddy were around and the news didn't seem so bad, 'cause everything that you needed you had? These are things I used to believe. Okay, I do believe.
Well, it is hard to hold on to that part of yourself that believes, and it sounds like that's what you're trying to do here in this song. Have you experienced heartache, doubts?
A lot. Yeah, I would say yes, definitely yes. Otherwise, I don't think I would have written 2 albums.
Is that where you draw from?
A lot of the time, not always, but it's a really good outlet for pain, as I'm sure most artists or anyone would agree. And a lot of art comes out of suffering.
Do you still contend that everything will work out in the end if you just believe certain things are meant to be? These are things I used to believe. Don't tell, but I do believe.
What do you see for your life? What are you wanting? What are the things you're trying to accomplish?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure that I have a great answer. 'Cause,
I don't know. There's only answers for the moment, I think, for that question.
yeah, when I first started writing songs, it was sort of later in life. I was 24 when I first started writing. And I always just set little goals for myself along the way, like, oh, maybe one day I'll be able to play an open mic. Oh, maybe one day I'll be able to book a show. And so I just keep setting little goals for myself along the way. And now to the point where I've already released 2 albums. So I sort of like to just keep going and see what comes next.
That's smart. That's
And
wisdom.
I don't really know where life is going to take me, but I hope it's somewhere really awesome and fun.
Yeah. Well, you seem like you're comfortable in your own skin, like you really like yourself.
I guess so. I never really thought about it.
Well, that's how you come off. Anybody who can laugh at themselves and not take themselves too seriously must.
I think I'm pretty funny.
Yeah. Did you have a person in mind when you were writing that bonus track?
Carrots and peas.
Bonus track. It was one you just sent me. Just said bonus track.
Oh yeah, so that's the one with the Debbie do-over in it.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I will tell you the story of that song because the full title of that song is Carrots and Peas, or Ode to Mr. Webb. There is a singer-songwriter who was based, or maybe is still, I don't really know, but in Boston, Massachusetts, named Brian Webb. And I don't want to say I was obsessed with him because that sounds really creepy, but I loved his music and I loved watching him perform. And
was he cute?
Very cute, very charming, very funny. And this was, this was before I ever started writing my own songs.
Oh, okay.
And he had a couple of funny songs too. And so when I wrote this song, he was totally the person that I had in mind that I was writing this about.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and play it. This is Carrots and Peas by Debbie Miller, and this is an ode to Mr. Webb.
And that's how I know that you like me too. Me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, me too, oh. Remember that time when I let me show? Fuck. How does that verse go? Remember that time that was after your show? I made you laugh outside. Yeah, remember that time I made you laugh? Remember that time? Remember that time? I don't remember how it goes. Remember that time? Remember that time? It was out on the street right after your show. Oh, when you laughed at my joke. Okay, I'm on it. Remember that time that you laughed at my joke? It was out on the street right after your show.
Okay, that was Carrots and Peas. So would you consider then him to be, Brian Webb, to be one of your musical influences?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else would you consider to be Bette Midler?
Oh, I do like Bette Midler a lot. I never thought about it as a musical influence, but I wouldn't rule it out.
So I'm off track there. I kind of get a Bette Midler because she
No,
could
I
always
would
laugh at
say
herself.
you're not off at all. You're probably dead on, and I never really associated it with
Yeah.
being an influence. One of my other favorite singer-songwriters is she's named Antje Duvakot, and just a beautiful songwriter. She tours all over the country, and she's someone else that I really just have loved for such a long time, even before I started writing my own songs.
Well, Debbie, thank you for coming on today. I appreciate talking to you. I learned a lot. You know, it's funny when you start these interviews, you don't know who you're talking to a lot of times because we haven't met in person. And I think I had an image of you that you were going to be like a big comedian. And you're pretty thoughtful and serious. Thank you very much for coming on. Good luck with Measures and Weights. Where can they find you if they want to listen to more and see your videos and buy your music?
I'm all over the internet. You could start at my website, which is thedebbymiller.com, TheDebbieMiller.com, and that has links to my Facebook, my YouTube, iTunes, CD Baby, Bandcamp, pretty much any link you could ever want to follow about me.
Okay. Well, that's TheDebbieMiller.com. And you've earned that title, I think. The Debbie Miller. You're defining. I did know another Debbie Miller, by the way. I guess probably
and that's
everybody
why
has.
this is why my website is thedebbymiller.com.
That's right. All right, Debbie, the Debbie Miller, Debbie Do-Over. Oh, by the way, how do you like that, before we go, how do you like that title, Debbie Do-Over?
I love it.
Do you
I love it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, you have a great day over there in Seattle.
Thank you, and thank you so
I'll
much
just
for
read this
having me.
verbatim. The following rules for female teachers were posted by the school board of one town in Massachusetts. Do not get married. Do not leave town at any time without permission of the school board. Do not keep company with men. Be home between the hours of 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. This is my favorite one. Do not loiter downtown in ice cream stores. Do not smoke. Do not get into a carriage with any man except your father or brother. Do not dress in bright colors, do not dye your hair, and do not wear any dress more than 2 inches above the ankle. So, yeah. My song is called Do Not Loiter in Downtown Ice Cream Stores. And it's from the perspective of a teacher who loitered in a downtown ice cream store. I went to the downtown ice cream store, got vanilla, and then I asked for more. My principal said it will go straight to my ankles, and next thing that I know, I will have cankles. Pretty sure it'd be worth it. I went back to the downtown ice cream store, got chocolate, vanilla, became a 4. My principal said that I'm becoming dependent. Next thing that I know, I'll wake up pregnant. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. I went back for more ice cream. I loitered around, lost in my daydreams. The school board found out and they issued a warning. My wild behavior they can't keep ignoring. Really? 'Cause what's so wrong with a few bites? Teacher by day, human by night. Well, you guessed it, I went back again. heart tingle. I think I'm in actual trouble now. Thomas ordered me a milkshake. 1 glass, 2 straws, 3 cherries, it was a date. The school board went nuts and they called me a hussy. I said that's crazy, he didn't even touch me. Though to be fair, I was starting to see my principal's point. I have a twofold problem. I am weak for dairy and men. The school board has sacked me and banned me for life. Thomas has promised to make me his wife. So I don't need a job anymore. The women's rights movement can stuff it. 'Cause what's wrong with talking to a sweet guy? Teacher by day, woman by night. I went back down to the old store. It no longer has the same allure. The ice cream's too cold and too sweet and too milky. It only was good when it made me feel guilty. Where is the justice in that?
Debbie Miller.